Hey besties, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, hi, hello, bonjour. Today we are going to be talking about fixing your credit. This is a series, okay? And if you do not know me, my name is Fanasia White. I teach everything credit from personal to business, and we just added tax preparation services. I am so freaking excited because I have some gems for you guys. This is a 6-part series, okay? So I didn't want to overwhelm you, so I broke down how to fix your credit into 6 sections, okay? So I have a little helper today, and if you don't have these tools, get them, okay? So what I want you to do is grab your books. This is the book, and this is the workbook. You can just use the workbook, but I prefer that you get the bundle, you guys, and the description will be below if you do not have this, okay? So I'm going to teach you directly from the book. All the tools and resources that I use to fix my clients' credit, buy homes, get their cars, lower interest rates, better jobs.
No, the thing is this. No, the thing is this. She thinking small. We need to be thinking big. You need to be thinking big. You need to be thinking big.
Is in this book. So this is exactly where I'm going to be teaching from. So without further ado, grab your headphones so you can get into your space. Grab your books. And as you guys know, I always recommend pens and highlighters. And grab your tea, your coffee, whatever you need, because we are going to be sipping through this process and we're going to have a great time, bestie. So let's get into it. Okay, besties, I'm going to first start with the 6 mistakes that I made before I fixed my credit, during my credit. And the reason why is because I feel like this is going to set up the foundation for you guys. So some people think that this is a overnight process, and it's not. So let's get into the mistakes. The first mistake that I made was not checking my credit score. Yes, I'm cringing just thinking about it. And you know how you're not on top of things, or when you overspend, it's like, I want to check this account because I know it's not, the math is not going to be mathing. But I highly encourage you to check your credit score. And if it makes you feel better, I'm not pushing my personal beliefs on you, but definitely say a strong prayer. Tell God to lay his hands on your credit. You are slowing your process up when you do not check your credit score. So that's number 1. Number 2 is not having credit monitoring. I know you guys are like, well, I'm gonna go to Credit Karma, it's free. Can I tell you a secret? They don't show you all 3 scores. And you need those to purchase a home or make big purchases. They're gonna look at all 3 scores. Don't worry about the 3 scores and like, what is that? I'm gonna teach you as we go on to section number 2, okay? But you need to get credit monitoring. I highly recommend IdentityIQ. And you know I come with the treats, okay? If you use the link in my bio, it's $1 to sign up for 7 days. And after that, it's $21.99. And it shows you all 3 scores. And I love it because it simplifies your credit report for you, okay? So that is tip number 2. Number 3, being attached to the number on your credit report and not the credit profile. So I'm going to get more into that as I teach you how to fix your credit, but this is a big no-no. Let me tell you why. Most people try to focus on, I want a 720, I want a 750, so they go get these trade lines and they go do all of these things. But the banks and the lenders, they normally look at your credit profile. They look at your payment history. They look at, how reliable are you as a financial person. It's like that's your report card as an adult. So if they see that you are not making consistent payments, it can look like, okay, I see she has Capital One on here, and I see that she's been paying it on time, but the whole time you're on a trade line and it's not a primary account. Don't worry, I'm going to go over that with you as we go through this 6-part series, but don't be attached to the score. Be attached to what's on your profile, because that's a stronger impact than the score. For an example, I had someone come to me in the 700 club and he got denied. But once we start adding primary accounts, that's when he got approved for 30,000 from Navy Federal. I mean, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I'm that girl. I know what I'm talking about. Number 4, rushing the process. Listen, you guys, I do not care how many times you have to start over, restart, wait for them to respond. Do not rush this process. You are in the process of changing your life, whether you are the first person in your family, whether you are the third, whether you're the fifth, whether you are the 10th. Don't rush your process. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. This is fun. Make this fun. This is why so many colors in this book. My goal was to make it fun for you. Okay. Next, number 5, believing that credit cards are bad. I was taught, don't get credit cards. Don't use credit cards. They're bad for you. They're not good for you. Stay away from credit cards. They mess up your credit. In reality, it's the total opposite. If credit cards are not bad for you, what you do with your credit card may be bad for you. But if you have a plan, which we're going to go over today, you're going to know exactly how to use your credit card. And guess who's going to teach you? Round of applause. Me. I'm going to teach you how to use your credit cards so that your credit score can increase. And trust me, if you follow the steps that I give you, I can assure you it's going to work. 6, this is the KO. Not working on your credit consistently. Most people start and stop when they get a letter that they don't understand, or they'll just stop in the middle of the process, or if it takes too long, they'll just stop. No, be consistent. Tackle that thing. It's like hitting the same spot until you knock that wall down, and before you know it, you knock that wall down, you got a big surprise on the other side of that wall. So be consistent, create affirmations around it, and just keep on going. I promise you, it does get better. So these are the 6 mistakes that I made while working on my credit and before I worked on my credit, and hopefully this can help you before we get into part 1 of this series. All right, besties, we are on part 1 of how to fix your credit series. So the first thing you want to do is grab your book and grab your notebooks, and we're gonna write in our goals. So if you open the workbook, you're gonna see where it says create a credit score vision board. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to do is write down your goals and write down the score that you want to reach, whether it's a year, whether it's 2 years. I tell you to always stretch it so you can push yourself, but also, put pressure on yourself by putting a date on it. Okay, so put that in here. You can create, you can create your vision board. Okay, figure out why you want to fix your credit. Do you want to add another stream of income with it? Do you want to get approved to start another business? What do you want to do with that? So grab your workbook and start filling in these sections here, putting your current credit score and then your credit score goal, and then beside it is your vision board. Make sure you do your vision board because it's in the Bible. Make the vision plain so that he who sees it can take it and run with it. God said it, not me. I'm just saying. So now we're going to go right into the book. Y'all, I'm teaching y'all directly from my book. If you do not have this book, please get it. I recommend it because this is exactly where I'm teaching from, okay? So the first thing that you want to do is you want to create a credit checklist, okay? The first thing that you want to do is check your mindset. Yes, you have to believe that you deserve good credit, and you have to believe that good credit deserves you because you're going to work hard for it. Number 2, go ahead and get your binder. Your binder is where you're going to stay organized. Organization is key when you're fixing your credit. Next, get your markers, okay? You're going to be highlighting through this process, so get your markers, all right? Number 4, pull your credit report. So there's multiple ways that you can pull your credit report. You can go on annualcreditreport.com and you can pull all 3 reports. The pro is that it pulls information that you never thought that you had. The con is you don't see your credit score, okay? I highly recommend you use IdentityIQ because it shows you your credit score and it shows you what's on your report, okay? Next, make sure you have your 2 forms of ID, It can be an ID, it can be a passport. So make sure you have 2 forms of ID, and your second identification, which is like a light bill or whatever that may be, a car note or car insurance. Just make sure that address is current on there and it's within the last 30 days, okay? Now, when you're disputing your personal information, do not forget to add your ID and your proof of address. You only have to do this one time. You do not have to send this off with every letter. Long as you do it the first round, you're going to be completely fine. They may send you a stalling letter and say, hey, you sound like you're with the credit agency. That is nothing but a stall method. And honestly, don't tolerate it. Say, hey, when you get that letter, say you're stalling. This is me. I'm sending in my information one more time. Delete this information, this personal information from my credit report. So make sure you use that. And I do have a stalling letter in the book as well, which will be up here. Use that stalling letter if they try to use that on you. Let me just add this. If your address on your ID does not match your current address, it is okay. They're just looking for your name and your date of birth, okay? So after you pull your credit report, right, you guys, this is the fun part, okay? Understanding the bureaus, highlighting what's right and what's wrong, okay? So you have 3 bureaus. You have Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. Most people think that they are related. They are not related. They just do the same thing, okay? They collect your data. They're not together. Let me say that one more time.
They are not together.
These are 3 different bureaus, okay? So after you pull your credit report, I want you to realize that everybody has somebody on top of them, all right? So they actually have people on top of them where they get their information from. And I'm gonna go over that with you. All right, so let's go over the bureaus and where they get their information from. So we're gonna first start with TransUnion. TransUnion get their information from Sage Stream, Innovis, and Telecheck. Okay, now remember, you guys, have your books because that's where I'm getting the information from. They provide information like auto lenders, credit cards, retailers, utilities, and cell phones. Experian get their information from ARS, record of your inquiries, and they get your bankruptcies. They also get information from CoreLogic, that's your rentals application, child support, and they also get information from early warning. So that's for like your checking account, open account, closed accounts, if you owe the bank, and check writing. Lastly, Equifax. They get their information from Clarity Services. Information they're getting is payday loans, check cashing, rent to own, subprime. LexisNexis and Check System is where they get their information from also. Liens, judgments, bankruptcies, professional license, and historical addresses. So you have to remember that these 3 bureaus get their information from higher up. All right. So now that we have the 3 bureaus and we know where they get their information from, now I'm going to teach you the science of credit, the scoring. How do they get this credit score? Because your credit score ranges from 350 to 850. So you have points in between. And I know you're thinking, well, how do they calculate it? That's a great question. So let's just assume that we have 100 points. So the first calculation they have, you have 5 sections in the credit report. Payment history, which is 35%, credit usage, 30%, length of credit, 15%, types of credit, 10%, and new credit, 10%. Each section in the book have its own color, which we will go over. So now that we went over the credit bureaus, we went over the calculation of the score, we went over the ranges in the score, now we're just gonna dive right on in. I got my helper so I can make sure I'm not missing anything from you guys. So go ahead and go to page 22 and 23. We're gonna actually start fixing your credit. So go to that page. The first thing you need to do is learn how to read the credit report. You guys, this is so important. So many people skip this process. But if you don't know what's on the credit report, you don't really know where to start or how to fix your credit or how to dispute because you don't really understand what's on there. So there are 5 sections on your credit report. The first section is personal information. The second section is account summary. The third section is account history. The fourth section is the inquiries. The 5th section is the public information, and the 6th section is the creditor's contact. I'm basing this information off of the IdentityIQ credit report. It may be different if you pull it from another place, but I'm teaching directly from your IdentityIQ report, okay? Now, the first thing that you want to do is you want to start with the personal information, okay? And you want to highlight this in red, all the inaccurate addresses that's on your credit report. Why? Well, if the bureaus attach things to your identity, which is your name, your date of birth, your address, your phone number, that's why most places ask you for those things, they report that to the credit bureau. So the first thing you want to do is have one name, one address, and one job. Make sure that is squeakily clean. If you don't get that off the first time, that's okay. Do not panic. You may have to do multiple rounds, okay? Before you actually dispute those old addresses, make sure that it's not attached to an open account. The reason why I say that is because if you have an open account with Chase and you change your address and you dispute it, it could possibly remove that account from your credit report, and you do not want to do that, okay? So if that address is old and you know that it's attached to your car note or anything like that, update your address first and then dispute that. All right, so there's multiple ways you can actually do the personal information. You can dispute this online, or you can dispute this by mail. Me personally, I do both when it comes to just the personal information, not the collections. Okay, so highlight that. It will be an example of the personal information right here, and you will see where we disputed all of the old information on this particular person's account. Next, you're going to see the section where it says the credit score. All right, so the credit score is just going to show you what you actually have on there. You don't have to do anything there. The summary is basically giving you an overview of what you're about to see in your account history. Okay, that's all it is. A summary, just summing up everything you got on there. Now, your account history, this is where we get down and dirty. Okay, this is where we start putting up our knuckles because we're ready to tackle these errors on your credit report. Okay, so when it comes to your account history, right, and you're looking at a specific account, by law, they supposed to have the current company that that account is with and your previous company on the side, and you will see that in one of the pictures that we put on this side or this side, and it has to say the name. So say for instance it's a hospital bill, I'm going to say St. Mary's is the hospital and the collection agency is Hospital Release is the name. At the top in that black box, it's supposed to say both names. If it doesn't, that's a violation, and you will highlight that violation. Okay, then you're going to go through each line on your credit report. Each line across is supposed to match the exact way. If it's reporting to TransUnion and Experian, by law, Fair Credit Reporting Act is supposed to report the same exact thing on each line. You're going to highlight the errors in that, okay? You're not disputing yet. We are just preparing your account, okay? So now what you're going to do is you're going to go down to the inquiries. If you have more than 3 to 5 inquiries on your account that you are not currently using, you want to focus on removing that. You do not want to dispute an inquiry that you have an open account with. For an example, if I have Capital One, I'm not going to dispute that inquiry because I have an open account with them. I've seen it to where people have disputed the inquiry and they close the whole account. You do not want to do that. Okay. All right. So on the screen, I'm going to show you different violations that you can actually look for. So it's some right here, there, and here. Okay, so those are the violations. So now that we have went over how to actually read the credit report, now we're going to go ahead and start by disputing your personal information. Me personally, I used to dispute by mail, but now I just use this system called DocuPost. And when I use the DocuPost, it uploads it, and this is what I use for my clients as well. So I will go ahead and prep my letter, and they actually ship it off for me, versus me actually using the letters with the stamp. So you can do that way, or you can do my way. You can do the stamp method, or you can do the electronic method, but I do not dispute online unless it's personal information. And the only reason why I don't do that is because it's you will have a better chance of winning the removal because of the time frames and the laws that's attached to it when you mail it. So I just electronically mail that, okay? So first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go to page 30, all right? On page 30, you're gonna highlight it. You're gonna go ahead and highlight the old addresses, and you're gonna use this letter, okay? Now you can basically type it how it is. Just to simplify it, all you do is have to say, hey, my name is Fanasia White, and I'm in the process of cleaning my credit report because I'm working to get me a home next year. And I see some errors on my credit report for my personal information. Can you please update this? And you're going to put the errors that you see on your credit report. The letter is already in the book. And you can use this same letter, but just, you know, switch up your words a little bit. And just don't sound like you are a lawyer. Just be yourself. Just sound like yourself. And I also gave you examples in the book where you can do it online or where you can do it in the mail. Now, the pro is when you do it online on the back end of things, you do get your removals with your personal information faster in like, let's say 72 hours. So that's a pro with the personal information. But I do not dispute any collections electronically, like online. And like, I don't go through Credit Karma and dispute. I don't go through none of them sites and dispute. I do everything by mail. Okay. All right, besties, that wraps up